The Wrights Panthers welcoming in the modern-day Wildcats. I actually spoke with the athletic director at Wrights, Beth Hagan. She told me that they sold over 400 single adult tickets this week in pre-sale. It should just be an absolutely packed house down here. We have one of the biggest games in the tri-state here at Enloe Field tonight, a true homecoming for the Memorial Tigers, playing their first home game of the season. Now, these two saw each other 6 times during the regular season. The Boomers getting wins in all 6 of those games. Tonight's special guest is Bernie Williams, a former center fielder for the New York Yankees. And Williams and Don Mattingly played together in New York from 1991 to 1995. Of course, Mattingly, a first baseman for that team. Between the two of them, they have an incredible resume, 13 Golden Glove Awards, and Williams has won 4 World Series rings. We have another busy night on tap as local girls basketball teams are competing in sectional semifinals. I'm live at Central High School for 4A action. The first game going on behind me right now is Castle taking on Harrison. The Thunderbolts currently in sole possession of second place in the SPHL standings. They're riding a 9-point streak, going for their 5th straight win here at home tonight. Well, sectional titles are on the line in the state of Indiana. Here in the tri-state, we've got games in 2A, 3A, and 4A. The big 2A battle happening here at the Wrights Bowl as the 7-4 modern-day Wildcats welcome in the 9-2 Southridge Raiders. A lot of fun was had out here today. The guys just excited to be back out on the course after having the last couple of weeks off. Tonight, Lily King and her IU teammates swam in the final of the 400 medley relay. They entered the event tonight in the 8th place spot.
Now covering the tri-state, this is 14 Sports.
At the start of every football season, the goal is always to win a state title, but only 12 schools have the chance to play for one. The Southridge Raiders were one of those teams and saw Woodland today for the 2A title. The team told me this week that the mentality was, why not us? So why not them? Just when he thought his playing days were over, he signed a contract. Today, Jay Cutler and the Miami Dolphins reached a deal. Well, it's a week where baseball dreams come true. The MLB draft has come and gone, and 2 Purple Aces are #drafted. The first to go was right-handed pitcher Connor Strain. The University of Louisville held a press conference today announcing the beginning process of removing not only Patino, but the school's vice president for collegiate athletics, Tom Jurich. Coming into the NCAA tournament and losing in the first round, what has been different about this team in these last 3 games? The other thing that we haven't really touched on that you kind of brought up is that mercy rule. So they haven't decided a point spread or the difference of that, but adding a mercy rule, because I know in Kentucky they have that where the running clock starts and things like that. Adding that, what is that going to do for Indiana high school football? My bracket is completely busted because I had Kentucky winning it all. Final 4 predictions coming up on Saturday. So we've got South Carolina versus Gonzaga. Who do you have? The Ford Center was rocking this morning as the Thunderbolts held their annual education day, and the team would look to give the kids something to cheer about. Of course, the Thunderbolts looking to bounce back after dropping their first game of the season to Peoria on Saturday. In the first period, we are scoreless. The Bolts on a 5-on-3 power play. Frank Schumacher one-times it, and Dylan Clark tucks home the rebound. We kick off the night in Indiana with 4A action. Bosse went 1-8 in the regular season, but was dominant in the postseason, upsetting both Boonville and Owen Valley to book a date with Central in the sectional championship game. Central having a tough postseason, having to beat both Wrights and Jasper to get to this game. In the first quarter, Central running back Torjon Evans will take the handoff, and look at him go. Wildcats have the ball back. Check this out. Aaron Hoppy throws it, and Ryan Obner makes the incredible one-handed snag for the pick. You know I got to slow that baby down, doing it like OBJ. Let's take it courtside at Wood Memorial. Jonathan Walker passes it to Javon Miller. He puts up the 3 and finds nothing but net.
Thompson is here right now with his story.
Well, Randy, sports have this unique way of bringing people from all walks of life together. Sharing in a love for the game bonds them and creates a family. The Central Bears football team has one coach who may not be blood related, but he has the Bears in his DNA.
Got a better group of guys that want
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
His passion for Central High School and athletics is unmatched, and he's a special guy and a good friend, and very fortunate to have him here at Central High School.
Neal Wilkins leads the Central Bears out of the locker room.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
I turn the scoreboard on, get the music going for the players. I get anything and everything for the coaches. I get all the dummies out and do all that type of stuff.
He's been a part of the Bears program for years, first as a fan, then as a player, now as a coach.
Hey, O-line, put him in the dirt.
My first football game here was seeing Jeremy Farrow score 6 touchdowns against Bossy.
One game, and he was hooked.
It's the greatest sport in the world. You got the camaraderie, you got the whole crowd into it and all that.
And this team adores him.
Let's go.
He loves Central football, and we love him. He's always been around for us. He'd do anything for any of us. Once we see him, everybody gets hype about him, because he always brings motivation to the team. We really want to win it for him.
1, 2, 3.
Neal works 2 jobs, but when he's not working, he's on that football field, cheering, encouraging, and loving his players. Neal has a very special relationship with head coach Andy Owen and his dad Mike, and, well, really the entire Owen family.
Neal is a close friend and a part of our family, and he always will be, whether it's on Central sideline or 10 years from now. We'll be together, and he'll be helping me, I'm sure, somehow.
I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for the Owens. They're good people. They've loved me my entire life.
They have a bond unlike any other.
We got them. We got them. We got them. They mean the world to me, and I would give my life if it would save theirs, because they're good people.
Neal's become a face of the Bears. If you're a player, you know him, you respect him, and you look up to him.
How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you?
Great.
So at the end of a big Bears win, you may see this. That is Neal leading the team, smack dab in the center.
After we get the big one, he always leads us out as a chant.
I'm a Central Bear. I'm proud. I'm tough. I'm a winner.
Now, the Central Bears have just 1 loss this year, and they'll wrap up the regular season this Friday night as they take on North. And Neal tells me that he thinks this is their year to win a state championship. On December 13th, 1977, the UE men's basketball team was set to fly to Middle Tennessee State for a game. Right after takeoff, the plane crashed, leaving 29 dead. I sat down with current head coach Marty Simmons, who at the time was 12 years old, but he can remember receiving the news like it was yesterday. That DC-3 airplane wasn't just carrying the team or the SID or the trainers. That plane was carrying the hopes and dreams of 29 people, the hopes and dreams of the entire community, hopes and dreams that every day since the school and now Coach Simmons try their best to keep alive.
I remember my father was the one that came in and told me. Even though I did not have a connection with anybody directly at that particular time, I just couldn't believe it, just shocked. And I started to cry for something like that to happen. I just had a hard time, being able to understand.
A moment in time frozen. People remember where they were on the cold, dreary night of December 13th. An entire community who bled purple and orange couldn't fathom what had just happened. They lost their team.
Just talking to people in the community that were here when it happened and just seeing how emotional they get just to talk about it, it just shows you how much that they really care, that they were connected. There was a relationship that I think makes Evansville so special.
Coach Simmons played for the Purple Aces for 2 seasons in the late 1980s. He was there for the 10-year anniversary and had the opportunity to meet and get to know some of the families. Simmons put on that Evansville jersey and played where those young men played. He now stands where head coach Bobby Watson stood, and each and every day he keeps their legacy alive.
They were terrific young men. They represented not only their families, their home communities, but the university, this city, the Evansville community in a special way. And the spirit that they had lives through us. And we talk to our players about that, and that's something that I think our guys take a lot of pride in.
Out of the agony, we will rise. The school, the team, and the community have done just that, all while keeping the memory of the 29 going strong.
I never ever see their spirit, their legacy ever not being thought of in a good way. There'll always be, the sadness that is associated with losing, great people, but it'll be a part of our history and tradition and our legacy forever.